Students, let's start with the very first element of group 16, that is oxygen. Group 16 of periodic table, it has 5 elements, namely oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium, and these are collectively known as chalcogen. So here we will start with the first element, that is oxygen. It is also called as dioxygen. So oxygen, it is the most abundant element on the surface of earth. It also present in the free state in air, that constitute 21% by volume of air and 23.2% by weight. It is also present in the combined state. It constitute about 89% by mass of water and 50% by mass of earth's solid crust. In the earth's solid crust, it is mainly present as silicate, carbonate, aluminate, and oxides of metal. So these oxides or dioxygen are very important. Out of these, here we will have preparation of dioxygen. So first, the general method of preparation of dioxygen is, before going to the preparation, here we are having isotopes of oxygen. Oxygen has 3 isotopes with the atomic mass 16, 17 and 18. This oxygen with atomic mass 16 is found very abundantly, that is 99.7 percentage, and atomic mass 17, it is found as 0.037 percentage, and 18, it is found in 0.204 percentage. Okay, so here these are having different uses. This O18 is radioactive in nature and find frequent use in studying the mechanism of organic reaction and other traces technique. So here we have few of the molecular and atomic property of oxygens are given. Atomic number, we are knowing the atomic number of oxygen is 8. Ionization enthalpy, electron gain enthalpy, these all are given, that we will be discussing here one by one. First we will have the preparation method. So the first preparation method of this one, that it can be prepared from oxygen rich salt. We are knowing that many salts are there which are present in the combined state with oxygen. So here we can extract oxygen from those salts. So these salts may be chlorate, permanganate, peroxide and nitrate, and on heating it decompose and give rise to dioxygen. See, here we will be having potassium chlorate. On heating this potassium chlorate, decomposition of this one takes place and it will give rise to potassium chloride by the release of oxygen gas. Again we will be having potassium permanganate. On heating this potassium permanganate, thermal decomposition of this one takes place and it gives potassium magnate plus manganese dioxide plus oxygen gas, that we people are preparing actually. It can also be prepared from nitrate, that is potassium nitrate. On heating potassium nitrate, it decompose and give oxygen as a gas. So these are the very common method from which we can extract oxygen from its salt. Here we can also prepare oxygen from the oxides of metal like silver, mercury and lead. These are also present in their oxide form. So here simply by the thermal decomposition, it means simply by heating of these one, they also give rise or they also release oxygen, because here the bond of this one is very weak, that's why it can decompose very easily by increasing little temperature. So Ag2O, that is silver oxide, it release silver plus oxygen. Mercury oxide, it give mercury plus oxygen. Then lead oxide, it will give lead oxide plus oxygen. And again we will be having lead dioxide, it on decomposition it will give rise to lead oxide plus oxygen. So these are the very common method for the preparation of oxygen. Hydrogen peroxide, it is also able to release, because hydrogen peroxide, here we are having the means solution form of hydrogen peroxide. So here we know that hydrogen peroxide, it is not stable compound, it very easily dissociate into water molecule and oxygen form. So thus we can also prepare oxygen, or we can also get oxygen from this method. Okay, now laboratory method of preparation of oxygen. Oxygen can also be prepared in the laboratory by heating potassium chlorate. So on heating this potassium chlorate, mixture of potassium chlorate plus manganese dioxide in the ratio of 4 is to 1 we have to take in an apparatus. Look at this one. This is the apparatus in which we have to take this mixture of this potassium chlorate and manganese dioxide, and on heating this one, this is going to release oxygen which we can which is liberated and which we can collect by the downward displacement of water. See, this is the reaction. Here manganese dioxide, it act as catalyst. Manganese dioxide is not taken part in the reaction, it simply act as catalyst. And here actually why do we use manganese dioxide? So here the main use of manganese dioxide, that it acts as impurity, and because of the presence of impurity here, it will lower down the melting point of potassium chlorate. Okay, that is the use of manganese dioxide. Next, we can also prepare dioxygen in commercially from air and from water. We know that atmosphere, it is a great source of oxygen, and it is thing that most of the oxygen which is present in the atmosphere, it is actually the byproduct of photosynthesis. We know during the photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water molecule, it combine with one another, and then it release glucose plus oxygen. So most of the oxygen which is present in the atmosphere, it is actually the byproduct of what, that is the byproduct of photosynthesis. So we can also collect or get oxygen directly from the air commercially, okay, by the fractional distillation. We know about the fractional distillation. It is a method from which we can convert this oxygen in or air into the liquid form. Whatever the gases are present there, on their means on decreasing the temperature or increasing the pressure, they get converted into the liquid form. By this method we can get oxygen. Okay, now we can also get oxygen from the water. We know water is also a source of oxygen because the formula of oxygen is what, that is H2O. So we can also prepare oxygen by the electrolysis of water containing a small amount of mineral acid on that. See here electrolysis, because by any other method we cannot break down water molecule. So water molecule can be decomposed or dissociate only by passing electricity. So it will give rise to hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. So this oxygen gas is collected as at the anode, while hydrogen is liberated as cathode. Okay, because anode it is having positive charge, so oxygen is moved towards the anode. So these are the method of preparation of dioxygen. These are very simple method. Pure oxygen can be also be prepared by the electrolysis of a solution of barium hydroxide by the use of nickel and platinum. It is also one more method, but this much method is sufficient. Whatever the method is given in the NCERT, you people have to go through those only. Okay, now let's have the properties of dioxygen. Dioxygen is colorless, tasteless, and odorless gas. It is slightly soluble in water, and its solubility being approximately 30 centimeter cube per liter of water at 298 Kelvin. Its slight solubility in water is responsible for sustaining the life of aquatic animals. Yes, we know that because of the presence of oxygen in the water, many of the aquatic habitat are able to survive because of the presence of this solubility of oxygen. Okay, next is, it is appreciably soluble in alkaline pyragalol solution. It is a type of solution. It is actually organic solution. Next we are having liquid oxygen exhibit paramagnetic character, means they are attracted towards the magnet. They are paramagnetic in nature. These are the physical property. Now let's have the chemical property. So we know dioxygen, if we will be talking about the oxygen, they are reactive in nature, but at room temperature they are less reactive because of the presence of double bond. And this double bond, it has the high value of bond dissociation energy, that is 493.4 kilojoule per mole. So it can dissociate, but at room temperature it shows less reactivity, but as increasing the temperature, the bond can be dissociate very easily, and then it shows reaction. Okay, so let's have some of the chemical reaction of these dioxygen. The first, that is the action on litmus. It means whenever we are passing the oxygen gas through a litmus paper, it do not change the color of the litmus paper. It means it is neutral to litmus. It means it is neutral in nature. The nature of this one is neutral. It is not acidic, not basic. Next we have reaction with metal. Whenever oxygen react with metal, they are going to form their oxides. Directly they react with almost all the metals and all the non-metal. Oxygen has the ability to react with all the metal and non-metal except some inert metals like gold, platinum. They are taken as the inert metal and they do not show reaction with oxygen because of the inert nature of this one. So active metal like sodium, potassium, they react at the room temperature only, or many more metals are there which are not as much reactive. That's why for the reaction of this one we have to increase little of temperature. Okay, so here first see the reaction of sodium and oxygen. It will give rise to sodium peroxide, or calcium react with oxygen, then also it will give rise to its oxide. A metal like magnesium, it burn in dioxygen to form magnesium oxide. Here we have to burn it, means without burning it do not show reaction because it is less reactive than sodium and calcium. So here also reaction takes place, but for the reaction it need to there is need to increase the temperature. Okay, some of the metal like iron, aluminum, they also shows reaction, but aluminum combined with dioxygen on heating, then it form their oxide. Less reactive metal like gold and platinum, they do not show reaction with dioxygen. Next we have the reaction of oxygen with non-metal. All the metal non-metal also shows reaction with oxygen, and they also form their oxide. See, because oxygen is the second most electronegative element, so all are going to form oxide except fluorine. Sulfur is going to form sulfur dioxide. Phosphorus is also forming their oxide. Nitrogen is also form oxide. Carbon is also going to form oxide. It means oxygen has the ability to react with all the metals and all the non-metals to form their oxide except few of the inert metal, and all the metals and non-metals are going to react with oxygen, okay, and form their oxide. Next reaction, that is reaction with compound. Oxygen also has the ability to react with the compound and help in the oxidation of these compound. See, HCl is taken as compound, so on oxidation of HCl it will give rise to H2 plus Cl2. So here the reaction takes place as 700 Kelvin. Okay, next we have sulfur dioxide. It also reacts with oxygen in presence of platinum at the temperature of 725 Kelvin. Then it will give rise to sulfur trioxide. Zinc sulfide also react with oxygen. Then it gives zinc oxide and sulfur dioxide. Ammonia also react with oxygen. Then it will give nitric oxide and H2O. It means oxygen has the ability to react with the compound also, and the oxidation of those compound takes place and they form their oxides. So it means oxygens are reactive in all form. Hydrocarbon also burn in presence of oxygen, then they also give their oxide CH4 plus O2, that is methane, react with oxygen, then it will give rise to CO2H2. Then here we have ethene, it also gives CO2H2. Here we have carbon disulfide, it also react, then it will give rise to CO2 plus SO2. Okay, so these are the reaction of compound with oxygen. Now let's have few of the uses of dioxygen. Some important uses of dioxygen, that in the oxyhydrogen or oxyacetylene torches which are used for cutting and welding of metals. It is also used in the metallurgical process for the removal of metallic impurities by oxidation. That you people are knowing about the metallurgy. In that also oxidation method is used for the removal of impurity. Okay, in the manufacture of phenolethylene oxide, it is also used as a mixture of carbon dust and liquid oxygen to for the preparation of explosive for coal mines. And liquid oxygen is also used as a fuel in rocket. Artificial respiration in case of pneumonia and gas poisoning, for that also oxygen is used. Mountaineers and pilots and those who are divers, they are also carrying dioxygen with them for taking breath with the help of this oxygen only. So oxygen also have lots of uses. These uses you people have to know. Okay, next we have ozone is the second compound or molecule of the oxygen. Here we know elemental oxygen exists in the triatomic form also, that is O3, that is called as ozone. Okay, so the existence of an element in more than one modification in the same physical state is referred to as allotropy. It is also taken as the allotropy because the existence of this one is little bit different. Now here we have preparation of ozone. Ozone is prepared by taking pure and dry oxygen to silent electric discharge. Here we do not increase the electric current, because on increasing the electric current, again this ozone, whatever the ozone is going to prepare, it dissociate and it will form oxygen. That's why here we need to pass electric current, but very slowly we have to give or give the electric current. Because of that, temperature should not reach, means raise. If the temperature will raise, then it will again dissociate into oxygen. That's why for the formation of ozone, here we have to pass very slow or low electric current. Okay, here it has 142 kilojoule per mole of enthalpy. It means it is endothermic reaction. See, sparkless electric discharge means silent produces heat. This prevent the local rise in the temperature. Here we are giving this slowly because to do not allow the temperature to increase directly. Okay. The apparatus used for the preparation of ozone is called to be as ozonizer. The two type of ozonizer are commonly used, that is Simon ozonizer or Brody's ozonizer. These are some of the structure of this one is also given, but that is not needed to know about that. This is the only method of preparation of ozone. Here we have few of the condition for the preparation of ozone, that the temperature should be low, temperature should not be increased. Okay, the temperature should around 273 Kelvin, and a sparkless discharge is passed. The spark cannot come out whenever we are passing electric current. Third, dioxygen should be pure and dry. It should not have any of the moisture. It should be moisture free. Okay. Ozonizer, that is the apparatus, should also be moisture free. Okay. Next, here we have structure of ozone. So we know, according to the Lewis dot structure, we are having 3 oxygen. One is present at the center and 2 sidewise. So first, the double bond is present on the second oxygen, and in the second structure double bond is present on the first oxygen. So that is the resonating structure, because here the shifting of bond is shown. So this is the resonating structure of O3. More the number of resonating structure, more will be the stability. Now here we have properties of ozone. Some of the physical characteristics of ozones are: it is light blue gas with pungent odor. When they are present in the form of gas, it is light blue in color, but as we are condensing this and converting it into the liquid form, it shows deep blue color with a boiling point of 161.2 Kelvin. On compressing it more, then it get converted into solid. So the color of this one is violet black solid, and the melting point of this one is 80.6 Kelvin. Okay, they are slightly soluble in water, but more soluble in turpentine oil. It is poisonous in nature and used as disinfectant. It is used to kill the germs. Okay, it produces headache when inhaled in small amount, but larger doses can be fatal. Means, because we know it is poisonous in nature, that's why if we are inhaling it in more amount, then it can cause fatal also. Now we have chemical reaction of ozone. So again, whenever we are passing this ozone gas through the litmus paper, it shows neutral, means it is neutral to litmus. Now decomposition, ozone decompose slowly even at room temperature also. That's why whenever we are preparing, we have to pass silent electric current, because it can decompose very rapidly. On means at room temperature also it can decompose. So on increasing the temperature, it can decompose very easily, or in the presence of catalyst also it can decompose. Like manganese dioxide or platinum is used for as a catalyst. See, here we have the decomposition. O3 get converted into O2. Now here, oxidizing nature. Ozone is taken as the very powerful oxidizing agent next to fluorine. Why it is taken as oxidizing agent? Because of the decomposition, it releases one nascent oxygen. See, here we have O2 plus O. This nascent oxygen is help for the oxidation of other element or compound. That's why it is taken as the strong oxidizing agent. See, here it help in the oxidation of metal. This ozone dissociate and give rise to O, and this O combine with mercury, and then the oxidation of this one takes place, and then formation of mercurous oxide is there. Okay, here we have oxidation of mercury, oxidation of non-metal, all undergo oxidation because of the presence of nascent oxygen on that. Here also non-metal like iodine, it also undergo oxidation and then formation of iodo compound takes place. These all are the oxidation. So you have to know the reason of the oxidation. It is because of the presence of nascent oxygen. These all things we have done earlier. Now we have formation of ozonoid. How do ozonoid is formed? So when ozone is bubbled through the solution of alkene or alkyne inert solvents such as CH2Cl2 or CCl4. So this is at low temperature it form ozonide. See here we have ethylene. Here this ethylene at very low temperature. Here what happened? Here this ozone it combine and it break the bond, that double bond, and it make a bond with ethylene, and then formation of ethylene ozonoid takes place. Now we have bleaching action of ozone. Ozone also have the bleaching action. It also used for the bleaching purpose. It is used to remove the color from any of the substance, like a colored vegetable. It is used to remove the color of that substance. Okay, so it can convert the coloring matter into the colorless substance. Uses of ozone: it is used as disinfectant and germicide in the purification of drinking water. It is used for the purification of air in hospitals, railways, tunnels, cinema houses, and for destroying disagreeable smell in slaughterhouses. We know here we have too much of rush are there, so in these places ozones are kept to kill the germs, or it acts as disinfectant. It is also used for the bleaching purpose. It is used as the oxidizing agent. Industrially, it is used for the oxidation of fatty acid. Now, presence of ozone in the atmosphere. We know that ozone is present in the atmosphere, upper layer of the atmosphere, which is help to protect the harmful ultraviolet rays to reach to the earth directly. Okay. Now we have the second element of this 16 group, that is sulfur. Sulfur is the second member of the oxygen family with the same electronic configuration, that is 3s2 3p4. So it is having some of the different property from the oxygen, because we know oxygen is the more electronegative nature, and the size of oxygen is small, and it is having more ionization enthalpy as compared to the other member of the group. That's why oxygen is going to show some different property as compared to the sulfur. Okay, oxygen exists in the diatomic form, whereas sulfur do not exist in the diatomic form. It exists as octaatomic form, that is S8. Here we have some of the difference given between the sulfur and oxygen. Means oxygen has small size as compared to that of sulfur. Because of that only they show different property. Because of the more electronegativity of oxygen do not have d orbital, then also because of that only they show different property. Sulfur can exhibit tetravalency or hexavalency, whereas oxygen cannot because of the small size. Due to the small size of oxygen, multiple bonding of itself can be possible, but on the other hand sulfur do not show multiple bonding with itself. Okay, sulfur can show the oxidation state of +2, -2, +4, +6, but oxygen, because of the small size, it cannot show +4 and +6 oxidation state. Occurrence, it can occur in the free state also, and in the volcanic eruption it can be present in the combined state, that is in the form of sulfide or sulfate. See, iron pyrite, copper pyrite, galena, zinc blend, cinnabar, gypsum, barytes, Epsom salt. These are in that all sulfur is present in the form of salt, in the form of sulfite or sulfate. So mostly sulfur are present in combined state. Here we have allotropic form of sulfur. Like other elements, sulfur can also be exist in the allotropic form. The most common allotrop of this method is rhombic sulfur, monoclinic sulfur, and plastic sulfur. Here we have few of the properties of these sulfur. that we for today we have this much only. In the next class we will have the allotropic form of sulfur. Thank you so much students for hearing me.